right. I mean, he said after the game that you've kind of challenged him to give his guys opportunities to make plays.
Yep.
Is that a play that you told him you can't do, or is that just part of when you have a guy that's a gunslinger that thinks he can make every throw? That's part of it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Two different things. That was actually a very similar play to the one in the Philly game, with one exception. The one in the Philly game was a 4-man rush, and it was a corner who overlapped, so the coverage was a little bit different than we had prepared for. The one in the Chicago game was 0 coverage. We were short. We were in empty protection, 5-man protection, and they were bringing more than we could block. So that's a play where you definitely have to cut your losses. We aren't in position. It's not like we got enough guys to protect, and we got to. When we're throwing deep balls, and there was several examples in the game the other night. When we do throw deep balls, our coaching point to the quarterbacks is give them a chance. Give our guys a chance to make a play, because it's tough to throw it 40-plus yards downfield and put it on a dime. That's not easy to do. They get paid to do it, and I think Jameis will continue to get better at that. But the first thing, how many times Jameis or any quarterback, you're running a deep route and you've got the guy, Mike Evans has a step, and we overthrow it by 5 yards. All right, that's not giving our guy a chance. We throw it 2 yards out of bounds. Okay, you got to give him a chance, and then it becomes the receiver's job to make the play. Now, on the play we're talking about, on the interception, we're in empty. That was a really bad 3-play. We made the long Cam, great catch, gave him a chance on the long one. We had to burn a timeout because we were screwed up in the formation on first down. We had a negative running play. They went 0 on second down, and we had an issue with the cadence. We weren't on the same page. We had our hot open. We didn't get him the ball. Now we get to that third down. We're in empty protection again. They went 0 again, back to back. So we're short on protection. I got to give Jameis a better play call. At that point, all he could do was cut our losses and kick the field goal. That was they got us. You can't make it worse, and we made it worse. So bad play call to start with. If they caught us in 0, and bad decision by Jameis.
Coach,
Dirk, can you talk a little bit about, I think, the New Orleans game and this week against Chicago? You just didn't get a lot of snaps. I mean, you got low 50s both games. And talk about the ramifications of that from an offensive coordinator standpoint.
Well, we're sitting there at 6-6 3 weeks ago, and then we go New Orleans, St. Louis, and last week in Chicago. All right. Here we go into analytics again. It's really pretty simple. In those 3 games, we've turned it over 5 times. We've had 5 turnovers. We haven't got many the other way, which offensively we don't control that. But 5 in 3 games, too many. And then the second part of that is, in that little stretch there in the middle of the season when we were rolling a little bit, I think there was some stat that one of you guys fired at me that for a while there, over a 6 or 7 week period, we were leading the NFL in third down conversions. Well, the last 3 weeks we've been 36, 30, and 25%. So in the last 3 games, you combine 5 turnovers with not converting your third downs. There's your answer. I mean, I think we had 10 possessions in the game the other day against Chicago. One of them was a 1-play possession on the block punt. We had 3 turnovers, so that's 4 of your 10 possessions. We had another third down we converted and got a penalty. There's 5 of your 10 that you're not giving yourself a chance. That's beating yourself. That's the number one thing that's hurting us right now. We talk about it all the time, is turnovers and third downs.
Now, Dirk, to be fair, the defense isn't getting off the field either.
Well,
But
again,
that's
not my job to worry about that. I mean, I got my own problems, and any offense can solve that. Okay, if you're an offensive coach, how do you get more plays? Convert more third downs, and that starts with winning on first down, getting into more third and manageables, which we didn't do quite as good a job of that here against Chicago. So it's a team game. It's the greatest team game in the world, and it all fits together. The puzzle all fits together. We got to do our part.
Coach, Cameron Brate had more offensive snaps than Austin Seferian-Jenkins on Sunday. Is that just a case where Cameron has earned that and sort of moved ahead in the flow?
Well, I think it was pretty close, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe before I put my foot in my mouth.
It was close, but he still had more.
Yeah, I think he did have more. I want to say it was like 17 to 15 or something like that. We got 3 tight ends. We only had 54 plays in the game. You know, some plays you got one tight end, some plays you got two, some plays you have three. Let me just say, Cameron Brate has definitely earned his playing time this season. Probably earned more than he's getting. Austin has had a difficult season because of the injury, and he's trying to still play through it to this day. He's still not 100% healthy. He's trying to play through it. So, we've got to get more plays for everybody. That would help us. As far as that specific part of that's just the way the game flowed and not getting enough plays.
This offense has had a lot of good moments this year. What's the next level for this offense?
Well, that's very simple. You gotta win games. You gotta find ways to win. I mean, it's we talked about it before. Numbers are nice. Numbers look good on those pieces of paper we talk about, but all that anyone gives a shit about in this league is W's. All right, you gotta win games. I mean, I'm sorry, excuse my language. I'm just thinking I'm amongst friends here. I forget that it's going worldwide. Come on, give me a break on that.
You realize this is the
This
part
is
of the
hitting
season
Pocatello,
where we're gonna
Idaho,
miss the
man.
most.
This is my hometown. My mom doesn't know I even know that word.
Dirk, do you have any, I mean, it would be simplistic to say inexperienced, youthful, do you have a reason why you think your offense has plateaued just a little bit in these last years? Is that just too analytical at this point?
No, that's
Is plateaued the right word?
I don't know if plateau's the right word, but we definitely are not playing as well as we played a few weeks ago. And I mean, the main thing I can point to right now is, again, going back to the turnovers and third downs. But there's probably more to it than that. That'll be something that we'll dig into hard after the season.
Coach Vincent Jackson went on IR today. Can you just sort of reflect on, coaching him and how maybe he's compared to other guys you've coached?
Yeah, we miss him a lot. We miss Vincent a lot. Vincent is the glue of our passing game. He can play all the positions. He always knows what to do. He's one of the hardest workers on the field. He's always in the right spot. When I came here a year ago, I thought Vincent was very similar to Roddy White when I first went to Atlanta. A do-everything receiver. Can go deep, can go across the middle, can go inside and block. You can move him around. And my experience with Vincent, even though I think he told me, I believe, that this is the most he's ever missed in his career. I mean, he's had a heck of a career. I hope it's not over, but Vincent did not disappoint me in any way. I think the guy's got plenty of ball left in him, and it's hurt us. It's hurt us as an offense that he hasn't been at full strength this year.
Dirk, how hard will you lobby for Doug Martin?
I'll lobby hard. The guys that make that decision, they'll make the decision that's based for the Bucs. And I mean, heck, as a coach, you want all your guys back. It's hard to say goodbye to anybody. I mean, reality is, after next Monday, it's never going to be the same. There's going to be turnover. That's just reality. It's hard, but I told the guys the other day, coming off a hard loss to Chicago, I can never get mad at the guys in our room. I can get mad at them in the short term, but those guys have given us effort this year. Right? They have played hard. They've played physical every game. I mean, there isn't one game that we didn't play physical enough or we didn't play hard enough. Now, we've made plenty of other mistakes that have hurt our football team and hurt our chances to win. But when your guys are playing hard and playing physical, it's hard to stay mad at them for too long. So even though some of the faces are going to change, I would lobby for all those guys. I mean, that's the coaching. People with higher titles than me have to make harder decisions about personnel.
Coach, going from Doug, you also have a guy right behind him in Charles Sims who's, done really well in the role that he's been given.
Yep.
Can you talk about what he's done and how he's handled, that third back and spelling Doug?
Done a fantastic job, and your whole team, Cam Brate, we just asked about that. I mean, that's what football is. It's role players. I mean, it's everybody playing their role. And had Doug not had the season he had, I think Cam could have done more if given the chance. I mean, Chuck, I think he could have done more if given the chance. He wasn't. He had limited opportunities. You have Vincent and Austin over here, who their seasons were disappointing from an injury standpoint. I'm talking they weren't with us all the time. You have two young guys over here in Cam and Charles Sims, who you're going, man, those guys got more to give. They got more for us. Adam Humphries fits in there. You got your three rookies that we drafted. They're all over here. They got more to give. That's football coaching, man. That's the mixture of your team, offense, defense, special teams. that's what it is. And it changes every week based on injuries, based on who's playing well, not playing well, based on your opponent, based on your game plan.
Dirk, if penalties are a chronic problem, now you weren't here last year, but they ran tight last year.
Yeah.
You know where you are this year.
Yeah, we're not good.
As a coaching staff, not just you, but as a staff, how much responsibility falls on your guys' shoulders?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately, and, you know, when I came last year and looked at the procedural penalties, I'm gonna talk about the procedural penalties on offense, you know, I was thinking to myself, that's not gonna be a problem. You know, we're not gonna have that problem. But we have had that problem. And, you know, Lovey talks to the team, there's playing hard penalties, all right, there's playing hard. You know, on the one I mentioned before, we got that third down, Donovan's hand got caught in the guy's face mask. He wasn't trying to get his hand in the guy's face mask. It's gonna happen sometimes, and unfortunately it did, and it was a good call. Procedural penalties, you know, we had a couple procedural penalties, those are inexcusable, and, you know, I'm speaking about the offensive side of the football, that starts with me. I've got to figure out a way in the offseason to be more demanding on our guys to eliminate senseless penalties that contribute to getting you beat. I mean, that's on my list. So you ask how much falls on those kind of penalties, I'd say that has to fall on me on our side.
Thank you.